All three of my managers have a Mini, and after a promising week, they fuck everything up.
Yeah, if you go back to the 80s and 90s, all the big construction companies had their own plant company. Then they all sold them because, you know, the land they were sitting on was worth more than the return.
Don't even bother taking the stickers off. You know what I mean? The fleet numbers and the stickers. It's got a plant with a phone number on it.
Every decent league and big account I get, my sales manager interferes and takes the main prize at the end of the fucking.
The one thing that we really need is people with personality and character.
I remember going there into the little market bit that's there, and all the gear was laid out. It was like literally for sale, so they'd nicked it and taken it to the market. You know.
If you're a small business starting up, don't try and compete with the big boys. Leave that market. There's plenty more fish in the sea. If you know your business, you talk to lots of people, the luckier you get.
I would call it Terminator because every time I ask my manager anything, he just says, I'll be back, and he never fucking does.
The opinions expressed within this podcast are solely the individuals and do not reflect the opinions and beliefs of the sponsors or its affiliates.
Right, bloody hell, here we are again, guys, with special guest today, Ricky Ellam, legend of the tall eye industry, I was told. That'd be fun talking about that. But we jump straight in normally, Ricky, with what's doing our fucking heading. And I don't know what's doing your heading this week, Mark.
Do you know what's doing my heading, guys, right? And I don't know, I'm interested to hear how you guys get on with this. Keeping up with the socials, right? So it was Facebook, right? Then it was Twitter, now it's called X, Instagram. Now you got TikTok and all the rest of it. I can't keep up with it. How many accounts are you meant to have? There's a question for you. How many accounts are you meant to have? And how do you manage all this? Do I want all this? Because I've got Facebook. I don't know what else I got. I got LinkedIn, Facebook and LinkedIn.
How can you fucking moan about doing social media and this is what you're doing now?
Well, I don't mind doing. This is great, but how do
you've
you
actually
keep
got someone doing it for you.
How do
you ain't
you
even
keep
got
up
to do
with
it.
the platforms though? Like all the on a.
Well, you don't have to. It's not.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to. There you
It's
go.
not regulatory. It don't say in the contract of life, does it, that you've got to have Facebook?
But I can't. But that's the other one. Snapchat. My daughter's got Snapchat. We're on holiday, right? I said she's made some friends. Right. I'm old school. I said, "Oh, did you get their email or their number?" She said, "Oh yeah, I got his Snap and I got her this and that Insta and." So how many platforms I just want to talk to someone. I don't want 18 different platforms.
You don't have
someone.
to keep up.
You don't have to. No, you don't have to be one of the crowd.
You've got to have them all. Yeah?
No, but that's why I ain't got them.
Just
That's
do
why
the
I
ones
just
you're good at.
well, that's it.
Or don't do any.
Pen and paper, mate. That's me.
You don't even you ain't even got your right name on Facebook anyway, have you?
No, I'm under a pseudo, aren't I?
Yeah, you're under pseudo, yeah. What's all that about? Well, going on technology, what's doing my fucking... I don't know if you've noticed, but years ago, you'd go in a supermarket, wouldn't you? You buy your stuff, put it on the thing, the lady'd scan it through. But now, you've got to scan your own shit. Have you ever been through the scanning stuff?
Yeah, of course.
First of all, you've got to have a bloody loyalty card. So you've got to have you're saying how many social media platforms you've got to have. How many fucking loyalty cards you've got to have? One for Tesco's, one for whatever. Yeah, but you've got to have one to scan it, to get the scanner to work. So the first time I did it, I scanned everything in there, in the trolley, and realised that when I got to the till to sign it out, that I should have had bags in the thing first to put it in the bag. So now I've got to walk to the thing with all the shopping outside of the bags. I had to pack it. So that's the first thing. That's my fault. But the thing that pissed me off the most is that you're not getting paid for this. You scan all your stuff, you take it to the end, and the woman comes up to you and says, I'm going to have to check 25 of those. And you stay there for 20 minutes while she then counts through the fucking bag. Maybe it's my...
Charlie, is it men of a certain age, do you think?
I think so. I mean, I just normally scan it and go. But
Me too.
Yeah, but you only buy two things.
The other night, I had a whole week's shopping, or 2 weeks' worth of shopping in the thing, and I was there for the best part of 40 minutes. I went and got a Costa and came back, and they were checking. And it was all because I forgot to scan 2 lemons I scanned 1 instead of 2.
Is that where you walk around with the thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't think I'd do that.
I'm not sure if I could cope with that. Yeah,
I thought you only had home deliveries anyway.
No, but you're doing the fucking job now at the supermarket, aren't you? You're not getting a discount. They're not saying thank you very much. There's £11 whatever the minimum
That's
wage is an
20%
hour.
off, yeah.
Because you've done
It's called technology,
so they were
isn't it?
checking it for you, and you went and got a Costa.
TikTok.
No, because they think he's
were
going to
checking
nick it.
yeah,
Because they think he's going to nick something.
The Costa was in
You
the
just left all your stuff and just
supermarket.
went, oh,
yeah, well, the
right.
Costa was in the supermarket, so I'm going to go and get a Costa if you're going to spend you're going 25, 30 minutes.
But you know what the joke of it is? The irony of this is that there's probably more than one person checking your shit, wasn't there? So if there'd actually been a checkout girl, there would have just been one person required.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you've got two people checking your gear out.
I reckon they just didn't like the look at you, Mark. I reckon.
I
They
think
just like,
that-
Well, maybe you're right.
I think
you're
he
right.
don't. They think he doesn't know what he's doing, so we'll check him because they reckon he's got stuff in his bag he hasn't paid for.
But
Yeah.
but
And there
don't
were
have
two
a
lemons.
situation where you think that people are going to nick off you, but open it up to allow people to nick off you. You with me?
Yeah.
You're making people that are in that mindset to nick
Well,
and get away from it.
Is
Obviously,
that-
you get away from it. But you say you've never been caught.
I haven't stolen anything, Mark.
Maybe.
No, have you seen the Amazon places though? The Amazon, I don't know what they're called, like Amazon Fresh, I think it's called, in London.
yeah.
Where you just like walk in and you just pick the stuff up,
Walk out
just
and it
walk
builds
out.
you.
Yeah, it just builds you.
Does that actually work?
I don't know, I never used it, but you need a card to get into that, I think, as well. So
I saw that a guy done a video he'd done it in Dubai. He was in the airport of Dubai, and he said he'd done a video and said, "Watch this." And he went in, and it must have all stuff everywhere. And he's picked up a bottle of water and a couple of other bits, and he's walked out and he's shown you on his phone. It's just billed him for what he's walked out with.
yeah, that's it.
So is anything like stressing you out at the moment? Because this is like a therapy session. We'd like to try and get it out before we get into the
apart from working for you.
Well, apart from that, yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
Did we have a conversation about staff and like that last
Yeah,
week?
he had loads of things to talk about. He just told us how shit the hotel was he just stayed in, but he chose to drop that down.
Sorry, you just walked into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, life is people, isn't it? People drive you bonkers.
I do.
I refer to this job once in my life, and it's still the same today. We are professional babysitters for skilled people.
Yeah.
You know, talking to Ian this morning,
Yeah.
recruitment. Yeah, people just drive me mad. Can't do this, can't do that.
Well,
Yeah? Can you fit in with them?
we talked about this last week. Exactly what you're just saying. And we called it kind of entitlement, didn't we?
Yeah.
Where people have told us they're turning up, we bought all the kit, they haven't come. They're telling us now that they want the job to run the way they want it rather than the way we want it to run. You know, how people take the job, you interview them, which we've experienced recently. You know, they understand what the job is, and then 2 weeks later they're going, no, this ain't
Not
for me.
yeah.
It's just absolute madness.
It's constant, yeah. Every day,
So everything's doing
these
good.
things are all hit you every day, don't you? You get up in the morning, is it going to be a good day or a bad or a shit day?
That's it.
Are you?
Right.
Is anything bothered? Like, because nothing bothers you, do you? The last couple of weeks you had nothing to do.
Have you been wakeboarding?
I've been wakeboarding. No, actually, I haven't. I haven't been wakeboarding. Not for a few weeks, mate. To be fair, so it's.
Is that what's bothering you?
Nah. Do you know what's bothering me more than anything? I don't know if anyone's got Netflix or watches Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've started putting adverts on it.
Yeah.
No, that's Prime. They've done that. Isn't it?
Only if you,
Right.
but if you pay more, you can get rid of the
Pay more and
adverts.
get rid of it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then so I got Netflix through Sky. So you get Sky, and then like with the package, you get Netflix as well. But the Netflix they give you for
It's the
free
basic one, yeah.
is the basic one that flipping has adverts on it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Charlie, I'll tell you
What
what, we
the hell?
talked about millennials last
So-
week, didn't we? And I
yeah,
just think
I'm just
what they
not
worry
patient
about,
enough
the
anymore.
stress they have in their life.
Oh no!
What
I-
adverts?
I'm not
Right,
patient
this,
enough. Yeah.
this, Ricky, is the stress that he's had. We've been talking over the last few weeks. Is Charlie's built or refurbished his bungalow that he's moved into.
Bungalow.
Yeah. So
bungalow.
he was stressing out what was doing his head in about knocking all the walls were knocking down and everything else. And when we got down to it to find out what he'd actually done, it was a square root of fuck all. Everyone else had done something for it, and he did nothing.
He just organised
Hey,
it.
look, I'm the project manager, you know. So it's
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what he done. He did attempt to do some stuff, and what we learned last week was he blamed all the tools and sent them all back. That's right, isn't it?
I did do that. Yeah. Oh yeah, bad workman blames his tools. God's
Yeah.
sake. Yeah.
Well, look, let's get into the having Ricky on, and we'll just start, Ricky, just casually, like give us a bit background of how you got into the industry and how you got into hire, really.
Oh, that's by mistake, like most people. I never intended to get into the hire industry. I was a boy rep, doing a bit of construction sales for a company called Leach Lewis, Errett, Clipper. Not earning very much money. And they were building just down the road from where I live, Stansted Airport. A customer of mine, we decided that we'd get together, borrow some money and open a hire company, which was the beginning of, I knew sod all about hire, to be honest, at them days. I knew about the kit, but not about hire. And it just grew. It grew over 10 years to 7 depots back in the 80s, £3 million turnover.
That was 727.
727, yeah.
727, yeah, I remember those guys.
And it was good. And then by default, I ended up, again, most things end up by default, don't they? But we sold that business to VP, Hire Station. I stayed on for a couple of years. And then Steve Corcoran, the legend, who he is, said, I want to buy your business, but actually it's too dear. I'll wait till you've sold it and then you can come and work for me, which is, I thought, well, I ain't going to do that. But actually 2 years later, that's exactly what I did do.
What was different about 727 than what was the USP there? How did you get that work?
The USP is all about effort, isn't it? It's knowing your market and what you're prepared to do against what other people were prepared to do. And just find a niche. We've done concrete finishing products, which was no one else wanted to do. But when you've got a project like Stansted Airport on the doorstep, we owned it in the end. Our kit was everywhere. And from that gave you a springboard to open another depot. But we had energy, we had drive, we used to start, as it said, 727 in them days. We were at work at 7 a.m. and finished at 7 p.m. So my day started for 10 years very early and ended very late. But no one else would do that, put that extra effort in. And I think that's what most independent hire companies do.
Do you think the niche side of the business then was a key element? Is it still stands today, does it?
Niche always works, doesn't it? I mean, it gives you that credibility and that position in the market that people think you are the experts and you can deal with their problem, and it gives you a lead because everyone does everything else, and if you go in with just leading, and we see how the market's gone today, general hire is fucked. Everyone's driven it down to the lowest denominator, which is price.
This is one of the questions, because you've obviously been through the good old days, let's say the good old days when tool hire was worth getting into, and you've seen some massive changes over the last 30 years. Controversially, do you think the hire market is flooded, and do you think it's viable now compared to the UK's traditionally been a hire business?
It's changed, isn't it? I mean, everyone's got smarter and wiser. I mean, main contractors would hire half-inch drills and floor sanders in them. That doesn't happen anymore. China has flooded the market with very low-cost power tools. Everyone buys them now. You can buy them in Lidl or so that market's disappeared. What I believe has happened in the hire market, it's got high value. People can still hire out high value items, but with low utilisation, so you can get a better return, a better rate for it, because not everyone's got it. But ultimately, you've got to invest a lot of money. And if you look at where the hire companies have gone, most hire companies run small plant now, don't they? They've got diggers and dumpers because it gives them a higher rate. But not many hire companies have half-inch drills and sanders and wallpaper strippers on the shelf anymore. That market's disappeared. So
that's really interesting, that is, because I remember my early days working alongside your dad as well. My early days was tool hire. That's how I started out, and it was kind of A-Plant and Speedy back in the day, wasn't it? The two big nationals battling over the tools, and you're right, they've both gone into plant now in quite a big way, haven't they?
And HSS. I mean, you think of HSS, everybody had an account with HSS. on a Saturday morning, you see people queuing up outside, DIYers for lawnmowers and strippers. You know, people. You know, are we more affluent that people just buy that, bought that sort of stuff?
I think
now?
they changed their market, didn't they? They went after construction companies, I think, HSS, and that really ruined their model. They had a really good model. You'd get 25 quid for a grinder, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like for the weekend, you know, from HSS, and you'd pay it because you was a DIYer and you didn't really have that kit, did you?
They were a hire company for the weekend DIY, weren't they? And I'll never forget, we brought a guy on, one of the guys that come to work for us, and he'd come from HSS, and it absolutely opened your eyes up, because it made you laugh. They used to obviously run 110 and 240 at HSS, so that the general Joe public hiring could plug the drill straight into their sockets at home, whereas we were still 110. So he was trying to bring this trade into us. And we had Joe Public started turning up on a Saturday morning for drills, and of course we're giving them the drills, and they go, "What's that, mate?" And of course then you got the big old heavy. Do you remember the big old heavy 3 kVA transformers?
You can have that free of charge.
Yeah, that's what we used to have to do. You know, a 3 kVA transformer, and you watch the bloke walking off with this great big tranny. But
so do you think has customer demand for plant services? Do you think that's changed, and do you think that we're still in the same ethos of what we've always been in, or you know, or is that, and has that affected like market saturation in any way? Do you reckon?
Yeah, well, I think we always go in cycles, don't we? I mean, if you remember, you know, if you go back to the 80s and 90s, all the big construction companies had their own plant companies, didn't they? Then they all sold them because, you know, the land they were sitting on was worth more than the return. So then it became a rental option. And I think rental companies, hire companies have tried to be everything to a customer, don't they? So they want to do, you know, I think Charles Wilson used to say anything from a 1/2-inch drill to a 20-ton digger, didn't they, in the old days? That was a saying. I think lots of hire companies want to be the full solution. They want to send them a PPE, they want to sell them everything, they want to hire them everything. They wouldn't do their insurance. It's a package thing. But the one thing I always go back to is however many nationals have tried to control the UK hire market and buy everyone up and change it, the UK hire market is still controlled. Over 50% of the market is still independents. So what's that telling you? That's telling you that people want personal service.
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing, because last week we spoke about centralisation against like decentralisation. So that goes the same with national or regional players. So do you feel that there's still a big part to play for those regional guys over there?
Without doubt, because centralisation builds in the computer says no, doesn't it? Ultimately, people don't know where they can go and not go, because you're trying to, you know, the accountants, and that's always been my way. Accountants always end up running big hire companies because it becomes a numbers game, rather than maverick MDs like the one I work for. Yeah, it's the models are different, and most companies will end up growing to a point where they end up having to control it. And they get bigger and bigger, and then suddenly they lose what they were really good at. And one of the other unusual stats in the UK is it's full of ex-number ones. The companies that have been leading the market, the Speedies, the HSS, Vibraplant in their day, and they're all ex-number ones. They've been there and then they disappear. And I think at Speedy we become... When I worked there, you know, we were really good at hire, and then we tried to be good at services, yeah. And actually, we forgot about what we were really good at, and the thing ended up, you know, going backwards.
Over the last few years, we've seen the nationals that you mentioned buy up some independents. Like there's a lot of attachment companies now part of the bigger nationals. Do you feel that you said that 50% are independents out there. Do you feel that number's getting smaller? Do you feel they're getting procured and bought into the nationals?
Yeah, well, how many independent chains do you see now compared? I think we just heard yesterday Nixon's have just done something. You know, Nixon's were a strong independent company. They've just sold. Yeah, I believe they've sold.
Yeah, and we were talking about this last week. I think what's interesting about it, I think the big company mentality needs to have a bit of both. There's a little bit of centralisation. What you said there, speedy services. There is customers that want that solution, but there's also a lot of customers that just want that traditional depot manager relationship, don't they? That regional relationship. I think companies need to find that kind of balance.
And lots of people check that way. I mean, Speedies, when you're looking at, and I think all the nationals have been in this, all of a sudden, in the last couple of years, it's all about, in the 80s and 90s, it's all about how many depots we got. Now it's about how many can we get rid of that just cost us money. We need we can do this on a smaller base. Yeah. But when you close a depot in Kettering, you might still keep the national type business working from Northampton, but you've lost all that local small Kettering small business, and that has to go somewhere. So it goes to independents. Generally, independents pick it up because they give them a cup of tea in the morning when they go in, have a chat, talk about the football, anything else you need,
But independents can't. They'll struggle to be more jack of all trades like a.
But they're rehire, Mark, won't they? They get into rehire.
Yeah, so you say that.
Fine, it's a solution provider. They become the good ones become solution providers for their customers. Can you get? Yeah, of course I can. Yeah, but with that comes risk as well. But depending on what you're hiring or what you're capable of hiring or moving or just offer it as a service.
Yeah. So, if you was going to look at well, first of all, where do you see the market at the moment? What do you think the current state as we sit here today of the hire market? What do you think?
I think it's probably oversupply, like you said. I think too much choice. The big companies don't value some of the product. I think they think tool hire generally now is just they can give it away type thing, as long as they get the generator hire or they get the bigger kit. They look at a whole basket, and I know that's what people like Sunbelt do. They just want growth, and we'll take it at not any cost, but we see it all the time. We run this deal, we run that deal. It's the big boys just chasing the big deals, and they keep going around in circles, these deals.
Yeah, they go from one big company to another, and it seems like it's just a race to the bottom to win it, isn't it?
Yeah, and some of the deals you see in here, you think, we just laugh because you think you couldn't do it, Now, how do they manage to do it? 100 quid for a 1.5 ton digger and a pecker and a trailer, and you think, why? Why do you want to do it? But they've got 100 of them, so you're buying the volume again. And you try and make it
making 100 losses. So where do you see, like, if we're talking about independence, it's about opportunities, is it? So where do you see opportunities for growth in the plant hire market? What is there anything that we're not doing or we should be doing more? Or those, is it down to niche or is it?
No, well, I think one of the reasons I joined CPR was the opportunity to supply smaller companies with bigger kit they can't afford to improve where they sit is a really good model, I think, and particularly with what we do at hire to hire. So you build some confidence with your customer base. They can get some bigger kit they can't afford to buy or wouldn't want to go and buy because the
space
money, space, maintenance.
Yeah.
Even their delivery vehicles, they don't have the ability to change direction to that cost and add that cost. So I do think niche products, markets, access is just everyone wants to be involved in access at the moment, don't they? Yeah. And it was a couple of years ago. It was all diggers. Everyone wanted to have diggers. So where does it go next? You know, everyone's trying a bit of seasonal stuff, air conditioning, or you know, fans, or air cleansers, or you know, these are all little niches, aren't they? But ultimately, you want everyday product, and you want to get, you know, the best utilisation you can. And if you're using someone else's money and kit, it's and you can make a profit on it. And quite often you can make more profit out of it than the bloke who owns it if you're smart. But
yeah, that's true enough. Okay, so just a little bit of advice for people. You know, we've had a couple of questions in the past few weeks where people are setting up on their way in management, having been an owner, managing director. You know, what's you know, what skill set do you need to manage at that level? What do you feel that you need if you was going to give someone some advice on setting up their own business or even becoming the next stage in their management role, a senior management role? What skills do you think they need?
Skills or advice? I mean, look, someone who already knows the market will know what the opportunities are, and I would say don't try and be everything to everyone. Just pick where you want the market you want to serve, and try and be a bit of a niche specialist, yeah, and then build it from there. If you get it right to start with, just in an area that you really got good knowledge in and good expertise, that's where to play.
But what about a manager becoming a new manager becoming a manager? What advice would you give them? What do they need to be able to bring to the table as a person rather than a company?
Financial. Let's face it. Everything's about money, isn't it? And nothing works unless you've got the cash. So understanding a P&L and what levers you can pull, and what's the difference between profit margin, and profit and margin. Some people, don't actually can work really hard and not actually make any money, because they think they're doing the right thing, but ultimately some people undervalue what the proposition and try and compete. If you're a small business starting up, don't try and compete with the big boys. Leave that market. There's plenty more fish in the sea that people just want good quality service.
Spread your risk.
Obviously, if you're a small tool hire business at the moment and you are, sort of getting, beaten by some of the big boys or whatever, is there anything that, whether you're a salesperson working for that small tool hire business or you own it or you're a manager, is there anything that you could sort of in terms of advice give to that person to try and give them an edge and get them ahead of some of those big boys and just sort of do a little bit better in what they're doing?
Again, just don't compete, because you won't win if you're competing because you're trying to win the same work as they're after. You can't win unless a customer wants that personal service and guaranteed delivery times and all the stuff you can control yourself, where the big boys can't because they're reliant on other people. But customers got to pay for it. You can't be the cheapest and the customer's got to pay you on time. Customer's got to be a good risk. You got to know what he needs, and then you got it available. So again, it's just assessing every customer individually and working to what the parameters are. As a businessman, you got to know you're going to get paid. So you got to have that relationship in place to know if they're a good risk. If someone I was doing a lot of business with paid me regularly every month, I'll go out of my way to make sure I could give them more. But if I was chasing them every month to get paid, then my enthusiasm wouldn't be as high. I'd try and be helpful, but I wouldn't.
Ricky, obviously you've been in the industry a long time.
Not as long as you.
And you've seen a lot of changes. Obviously, had your own company, and what in your opinion, if you was to review your time in the industry, do you feel it's got better for certain reasons, or do you feel it's got worse? And I mean that as an open question. In terms, it's quite interesting you talking about payment terms, because that seems to be a problem that I've experienced that problem for the last 20 years. People paying. So, as a whole, has the industry got better, or has it got worse, or do you think it's stagnated?
Because people get old, they moan about things, don't they? But actually, in my opinion, I think it was more fun before. But actually, I think the industry is more professional now. Yeah, and it's safer. It has better quality equipment. You know, some of the stuff that used to get hired out, is on a wish and a prayer, and you might get electrocuted or killed by it. But it is better. Yeah.
But you've got that goes on to like the funniest things. I mean, what we spoke before when me and Ricky were in the time where you would maybe play a round of golf for stolen equipment, and the winner would either pay for it or the hire company would compensate it. What's the funniest things you've seen in the industry? You must have loads of stories that have made you laugh over the years, because that's what we're trying to do. We don't want to be too. It's great to hear the serious.
Can't be too specific, but I've been.
Don't name names.
I've
been
locked in rooms to do deals at times. Yeah, where it wasn't probably the right thing to do, but actually, we got paid. But no, I've seen them all. I've one story that comes up when I run my own business. We had in 1990. Yeah, we had 3 customers go bust in my own business in 6 weeks. All our biggest customers. And I got a phone call one day from one of the directors at Stansted Airport. He said, "Can you come and see me?" He said, "I know your customer's gone bust. He said, "I don't want to go into detail. Just bring all the contracts that you got out to them, and I need to talk to you about it. But bring some new contracts so we can sort it out." That man saved my life, because he transferred all the hires over to him. And every time I tried to speak, me being a bit stupid, he kept telling me to shut up. He didn't want to know. But he knew all that kit had been nicked by the subbies, because it was all small tools. And he got me out of big trouble. And of course, at the end of the contract, when I'd been paying for it all again, all the stuff that was lost, he paid me for. Yeah, knowing it had all gone. So there are many stories. I mean, I've been driving around on sites at night because all the Indian subcontractors are cooking a curry in the site huts, and everyone's been drinking all night, and you think that just can't happen anymore. Yeah.
What's kept you interested, though, isn't it? The
people,
characters,
isn't it? People and characters. Yeah. I mean, look, they're still there, aren't they? They're always.
Are they though? Are they still there?
Yeah, they are in a way. I've seen on the Olympics, some of the things that went on the Olympics, and we had a container. One of the contractors was dredging all the river, and we had a container with loads of old guns that had been dredged up, and they left them in my container, the main contractor. Yeah, and these are all East London, dirty criminals that had dumped their stuff in there, but suddenly one day all them guns just disappeared. God knows where they went. Yeah.
I remember going to Milton Keynes shopping centre, and we'd had loads of theft of small stuff from site. And I remember going there into the little market bit that's there, and all the gear was laid out. It was like literally for sale. So they'd nicked it and taken it to the market. Them type of things, God, I don't think they ever change, actually. They still go on.
I think it does. Years ago, I remember getting a call. I was sitting on the hire desk, and the police called and asked if I could go down there was like a second-hand shop down in Chatham, and asked if I could visit and identify some equipment. And I've gone down there, don't even bother taking the stickers off. You know what I mean? The fleet numbers and the stickers, it's got a plant with a phone number on it.
But they still bought it. That's what I never got. They got all them numbers on, but the company still bought the stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, we identified it all. We ended up getting it all back, but It just,
Wow.
but the brazen front of it is phenomenal, isn't it? You know, people just walk on site of a hive, his vest and a hard hat, pick stuff up, and
Right, the best one I had at Ardmore was they must have nicked a site radio, obviously, so they knew exactly what was going on. So we got a site radio. Someone's obviously turned around and said, "Can you off-hire that 20-ton breaker from BCL?" Like, it was the same company, Ardmore. And obviously someone's made a phone call to me, off-hired it, and literally within 45 minutes, the truck turned up. BCL on the side, one of them magnetic signs probably, turned up, and they've said, come to pick the breaker up. And the bloke's, this is a great service. So they even used the tower crane, our own tower crane, to lift the 20-ton brake on the back of the truck.
Helped them,
and off it went.
Oh my God.
And they had paperwork and everything.
We had similar at Speedy. We had a van nicked in Edmonton, and a driver left the keys in ignition on, and they someone nicked the van. Reported the van stolen, but of course the thieves, very smart, just switched the number plates to one of our other vans. So we reported a number plate, and there was a copy van going round with a different number plate, going to building sites, collecting equipment. Speedy equipment, come collect the tower, mate, come collect the generator. 5 weeks that van was on the loose.
Oh, I remember going to. I wonder if this was related to that. I remember going to a client's job down in Kent, and he was telling me that he's got an issue. He's got to resolve. They've off-hired all this equipment. It's all been collected, but Speedy's never received any of it. And it turns out they'd either nicked the van, or he was telling me he thinks they'd peeled Speedy stickers off of compressors and stuck them on the van, so it looks like a Speedy van. And then they turn up and they go, "Hello mate," they didn't even say what they come to collect. They said, "Hello mate, come to collect the bits that have been off-hired." And of course they go, "Oh yeah mate," and they're handing it all over. But none of it ever made it back to Speedy. Yeah. Shows you the front, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, got some front.
So really, sorry. I was going to say, so if you're, let's say someone's listening to this and they're just getting into the industry and they've maybe just started a job in tool hire, is there any particular advice that you would give that person?
Yeah, I think network and get relationships with as many people as possible. Talk to, whoever you talk to, eventually you'll see them again. And they'll remember you, and always try and be, helpful. Really, I think if you know your business, you talk to lots of people. The luckier you get, really. Yeah, there's no, there's no secret to it. Yeah, as long as you know what you're doing and don't. I think, Marcus is saying it always makes me laugh. Yeah, he's had plenty of sales and working can sell a pound for 50p. Yeah, and that's that. People get stuck in the transaction. I can get it out, but actually, do you make any money? And look,
the relationship, we know that we've worked. The relationship is absolutely 100% right. At first, when you're building that relationship, you've got to go through the pain barrier of rates and pricing. But you know what? We've worked with people like Chris Packett. People like that. He was known as Chris Packett because he always go to an opening of Chris Packett. I won't mention who he is.
Oh, he worked. Does he work for a major construction company?
He did work for a major construction.
So it's gone round because you know it is, don't you?
Everyone knows.
He's retired now.
I think he has retired. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so basically, after a while, you just take a phone call and you'd be giving him the kit. You wouldn't even talk about price because the price was. It was about the service and the relationship, and he knew that you'd be there to
you had to be there or thereabouts. And look, my view with a customer and relationships, you always want to get the call when something's gone wrong, rather than they just off-hire your kit and go somewhere else. Yeah. And if you've got a relationship, generally you'll get the call to try and sort it out because nothing is perfect, is it?
So inevitably we have to stop for 5 minutes or so, and for our sponsors, keep us going. So PAR for one of their sponsors. I've worked with PAR for a number of years, and as I've said before, I feel they've been a major part of our business growth strategy.
One of the key things for me is obviously when you look at other businesses, they specialise in every sector. They don't have any. There's no niche. The great thing for me is Path it's the niche for our industry. The people that they've got on the books are for our industry. The vacancies that they have are for our industry. So for me and for anybody else dealing with Path, it is the go-to place for the construction and plant hire industry.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate the comments there, guys, and absolutely right. We that's our specialist. That's all we deal with. So we've been, established for the last 20 plus years, and ultimately we've got hundreds of clients that use us that keep coming back, and that's because we keep filling the roles. We've got a team of 13 people that are all very, very well trained and very, very knowledgeable in the industry, and ultimately, that's our bread and butter. That's what we do.
This is the time of the day that we normally go for Mark's quiz.
That's it.
So we invite you into the quiz to this one. It's normally
quiz.
they normally try and stitch me up with, there's a steward's inquiry going on at the moment.
Well, if you want to hand out
some of
the
the points
pens and papers then, Charlie.
Have we got write them down?
Yeah, we write them down. So basically, what we're doing is Mark asks a question. We've got to put them in the top 5. So it's what top 5. He'll ask you a question, and we've got to put them in the top 5, and then you get a point for everyone in top 5, and maybe a spare point for something else. But you can act for the production team today, Ricky, while you're here. So you're playing for Sam and Rianne. Well, go on, give us a question.
Right, so the question is the UK top 5 construction projects, either completed or currently under construction. Not started yet, currently under construction.
Top only UK again?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
What do you want? You want some global stuff, do you?
No, it's all right.
You're not talking about historical, just either.
What the most expensive ones?
The most expensive, right? So give me the top 5 most expensive construction projects, either completed or currently underway.
And the value.
Your value will give you another point. Yeah. You got the value.
Because I know what the biggest construction project ever was. That's why I was thinking you was going to go global there.
You're
That's
always
the space station. Did you know that?
The
International
ISS.
Space Station.
I can imagine.
I think that's you trying to wing another point again, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, you always drop this. Never mind. So.
So I'm interested to see what you guys get on this one.
There's some of these I don't,
And people listening and are scribbling down.
Trouble with Mark, he'll go back down to things like Adrian's Wall.
I was going to put the Tottenham Stadium, but there you go.
That's it. I've got
Not that high.
I've got Dover Castle in there.
Okay. I'm going to put this one down, but I don't think it's right because it could be a joint. It could be a joint venture.
Yeah, but JVs are in there.
Yeah. No, but JV between one and another. Okay.
How you doing, Charlie? Have you got 5?
Yeah, I got 4.
Hold on. Don't put pressure on us. We've got to have a. I know you said there's a minute time, but we could actually take an hour and cut it out. Back down to a minute.
I suppose you could, yeah. I feel for poor Charlie. I was saying that though, he's got some good points actually, hasn't he?
We should do his bloody homework. He's got plenty of time on his hands. He don't do any fucking work at home, does he?
No, he obviously don't know his work. And he's not even wakeboarding, he's admitted to as well, isn't he?
Yeah. He just stands next to the printer anyway, don't he? Watching the invoices going out.
Oh, wow, yeah, absolutely. I wish.
If you got to deal with your dad, I know what you mean, yeah?
Yeah.
So the top 5, name and then estimated cost.
Oh, you didn't say the estimated cost as well?
Yeah, get extra point for that. Put the cost in. Put the cost in.
I see this one's probably too small.
And some projects, which may still be under construction, there's a little hint for you, may be may have a large variance because they're not finished yet.
What kind of hint's that?
What?
There's plenty of projects ain't. Anyway. I've lost count of how much we're spending on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done.
Right, Mark's done. Charlie,
Yeah, done.
what you're done? Ricky, how you doing?
Yeah, I've done them all. Yeah,
You're done as well. You ready then?
I'm just putting values to them.
Okay.
I can never get their value. It's like he done lengths of motorways yesterday.
Oh yeah, 500
Yeah.
miles.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I don't know how many miles there is in the UK.
370 something.
Something, yeah. But I don't know what I was thinking. 500.
Well, unless you're thinking you carriage away the other way.
I was thinking it was probably the amount of times I've gone around the M25, like just to keep out of
What,
traffic.
a week? Yeah, 500 miles. Right, you want to swap then, boys?
Oh, we've got a swap.
Yeah, you can mark each
There's
other.
no cheating. Anyone there?
Charlie's just chucked his pad away. Right, I'm sure you've already...
Charlie's got no values on there at all.
Oh yeah, I didn't put the values.
Why not?
Sorry. I couldn't even guess.
This could be your chance
couldn't
to
even
steal
guess.
then, Mark, couldn't it?
I don't know, because you know what you like. You've got to get it spot on the pound note with you. You know.
Yeah, well, I've just put noughts on the end, so it don't matter.
Right, number one. You ready for number one?
Yeah, go on.
Number one, HS2. I would
Okay.
have thought you all got that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right, so is that a point for all three, is it?
Hold on. We'll get it up. We'll add it up. I'll tell you how many points.
Oh, yeah, okay. Number one, HS2. Cost, if you did put it on there, is currently estimated between 72 and 98 billion now.
Yeah, I put 200 billion.
God, I don't know what I've done. What did I put?
200 and...
Hold on. 25 billion. Mate.
25 you put.
Oh,
I've got, you got mine.
Oh, have I? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
200.
It'll probably end up with that.
25 billion. It got so
I
much.
crossed them out and
Yeah,
added
yeah.
to noughts.
Yeah.
HS2, you cannot keep up with it, can you?
No.
Without it?
And the next one is a little bit similar like that. Hinkley Point C. Hinkley Point C
Yeah.
is 22 to 25 billion.
Yeah, 5 billion you put.
You know. Yeah.
I think I'll put 200 billion again. Yeah,
I couldn't work it out. But I'll tell you, interesting about
Yeah, probably-
HS2. Do you know
probably
why?
will be.
Do you know why it's so expensive?
they're 50 billion.
HS2 so expensive.
No, go on.
It's because they had like someone wanted to have like a legacy of electric on there, didn't they? They had an electric, what should we call it? Sweeper, like Johnson
right.
sweeper,
Yeah, yeah.
like 500 quid a day or something.
Yeah, they wanted an electric sweeper. That is true. I know who's even supplied that.
Just so they say they can tick a box, and that's how money going down the shitter because some procurement bloke said,
No, but it's owned by the French. It's not our money, it's the French.
Yeah, but
We're
I
just
got
going to pay exaggerated rate on an
I got another fact for you, just very quickly on that. Another fact. I was talking to a guy who used to work on that project, right? And he was telling me, legacy again, those foundations they've put down for the train lines, right? Apparently, the train lines are good for 400 miles an hour, even though we're not going to go anywhere near that. But apparently, in 100 years' time, we might. So the infrastructure's there.
thinking of the future, eh?
Yeah, I know, but we've paid for it now. What's the point of that?
I told you the French paid for it. It's not.
Well, there you go.
Go on, number three.
Number three, Crossrail, 18.7 billion.
Mm.
Put 150 billion in.
I know it was over budget.
But I didn't even guess. So.
Number four.
Number four, Battersea Power Station,
Oh,
9 billion.
Didn't have that.
Yeah, I didn't have that either.
No, that's a good one.
And then number five,
But it's taken about 40 years to build, though, hasn't it? Like different ownerships. Here,
oh God,
Yeah.
it's gone all
Number
in different
five.
hands. Number five, Thames Tideway, 4.9 billion.
Oh, no Olympics. Right.
No, I put the Olympics. Where does the Olympics come?
I'll have a look. I've got the 20 here. It wasn't even listed on here, the Olympics.
No,
Top
that
20.
can't be right, sure.
Yeah, it's probably only a couple of billion, though, wasn't it?
Mm.
So, who was this one? Oh, so Charlie's got 2 points.
Right, let's work this out. Charlie's got 2, has he?
Ricky's got 3.
And you got 3.
Oh, wow. So, no one got anywhere near the values?
No.
No.
No, nowhere near.
So Mark got 3, is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie got 2.
Charlie
and the
got
production
2.
team
Got 3.
3. God,
Wow.
scored a point.
Lovely.
That's good. So what's it looking like overall then, Mark, at the moment?
I've got to admit, you're making a comeback now.
Am I?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, my tally
It's not
chart.
over till it's over, is it?
That's it. Charlie was. You've peaked too soon, Charlie. Charlie was an early doors winner there, wasn't he? With the old miles an hour steward's inquiry, though.
So now what we have, Ricky, we have people write in. Funny enough, can be quite a giggle. Depends if I fuck it up or not. But normally we do like some nicknames and sometimes some themes. And the theme that's been rolling the last few episodes is, if your hire company or any company was a film, what would be the theme of that film, or what would the film be called? So they're normally how people come up with this. I don't know. One guy said, I would call our firm the Italian Job, not because it's signifying position and expertise in handling of the equipment, but because all three of my managers have a Mini, and after a promising week, they fuck everything up. Which is fair enough to the film. Next one, guys called in and said, wrote in and said, Back to the Future. I'd call ours Back to the Future. Again, emphasising it's not about innovation, embracing new technologies, but each board meeting we talk about innovation and changing for the future. By the end of the week, we're doing the same thing as the way we've done it before. So guess what? It works. Stay as it is. It's not bad. Next one, which you'll probably recognise, Mark, being in sales in your past life, Indiana Jones. Again, not because we symbolise an adventurous and dynamic plant eye at work. It's because every decent league and big account I get, my sales manager interferes and takes the main prize at the end of the fucking which we've all been there for, haven't we? Yeah, we've all been there. It's quite a good one. That's it. My favourite one what I read was we call ourselves the series. Could be like the Terminator, but it's the series of the Terminator. And it's not representing unstoppable force and efficiency of plant hire services. It says, I would call the Terminator because every time I ask my manager anything, he just says, I'll be back. And he never fucking does. And this is one probably true to our arts. To be fair, I've had some strains over the years with this particular department. Not doesn't matter where you go. It always seems to be the same. They said we call it. I want to call mine the Matrix. Again, not signifying position and expertise required in operating equipment or plant hire. He goes, it's because of IT personnel. Know nothing about the business. Work on their own time zone and stop you from doing your work. Which I feel I've experienced a bit of pain on that. I'm sure you all have.
Fair enough.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, go. But before we wrap up. There's a couple of questions. I don't know if we've answered them, actually. We might have even answered them. It's just a quick one. Someone's wrote in and says, and we've probably answered some of it. It says, how's the plant hire market evolved in recent years? Have you noticed an increase in competition? But what are the major changes that we've all seen in plant hire? We'll go around the table in the last... since you've been in it.
The big changes for me have been compliance and safety. I've seen, so when I started out, even now if I look back at old pictures of dumpers and excavators, they look weird. Now they've got ROPS bars, the technology that's on them now, now we're thumbs up and AI cameras and God knows whatever else. So that's the biggest thing I've seen, safety and technology on machinery.
I think for me, probably two things I'd say. One is what you almost touched on, Ricky, really, is the fact that there's a lot of the larger businesses that are eating up all the small ones and, sort of acquiring them. I think that's a big thing. There's, a lot of very, very large plant hire companies out there now, and they've just grown and grown and grown through acquisitions, etc. And I think the other thing is from a recruitment point of view, staffing. It is very, very difficult to find staff, for the industry, and I think that's just got harder and harder and harder. So, the two things for me.
Ricky?
Technology for me, I think it's become a key objective of most of the big companies to keep pushing manufacturers to giving them a differential in the market. And it's a bit like Formula One cars, isn't it? You know, eventually it finds itself on road cars, and I think technology is driven by health and safety and cheaper emission or better emissions, but actually the cost keeps going up, which excludes a lot of people from buying it or even servicing it, because it's a bit like a modern car. You've got to plug it in first, and I think that's where hire will go. Technicians, we're already seeing, you'll probably see it in your business, more and more skills, you know, and I find, you know, even in this business we're in, I can't get a powered access fitter to look at a diesel engine. One, they don't want to get dirty, and two, they become technical wizards on what they do. So I think skill sets is a big issue. Yeah, we all talk about apprenticeships and stuff. Actually, the commercial attributes all go with it. People can't afford to do it because there's no guarantee then people are going to stay with them when they've finished it. So no one wants to do it.
Yeah. For me, I think we've lost a little bit of the personality. I think in the industry we see it change. The entrepreneurial spirit. You know, everyone would get up, and if I'm not saying that they were from the wrong side of the tracks, but maybe some people that weren't as highly educated coming out of school got an opportunity to start their own hire companies, to be part of an industry because they had an entrepreneurial spirit. You could do a deal. Everything was about doing a deal. As you said earlier, Ricky, networking is the thing to do, building them relationships. And I think we could become so corporate in some ways with the big companies that have taken over. We've lost that kind of personality. And I think some of those ducker and divers, you know, those, I don't know, dare I say, people like me and you, Ricky, you know, market traders as such, you know, that would just get out and just get the deal done and trying their best to get a deal. I think we're losing some of that because I think we've lost some of that personality. However, it's good to hear, you know, from your view that there's still a big part of the market is the independents, and they'll be a little bit more entrepreneurial, and it's still there. But I just feel that we've lost a bit of that. Whereas even in the bigger companies, you always still had those people. You know, like you were in Speedy at that time. When you was in Speedy, you were part of that crowd that would have still that entrepreneurial spirit and try and get a deal done, even though Speedy were a massive company. Even up to the CEO, you know, Steve Cochran, we spoke about Steve, he loved the deal, wouldn't he? You know, but I think now, as you say, some of them companies are run by accountants now, and you just haven't got that personality. But you know,
one of the other things we missed off, which we have to go, is HR departments that have got really new names all the time. They reinvent new names for HR departments.
Oh, talent acquisition and all this.
And you've got to fill in questionnaires, personality questionnaires, if you want to join their company and be assessed first. And actually, you know, people get lost in that. You know, would you fill a talent in one of them questionnaires in to go for a job and work out what you're good at and not good at, and what your IQ is, and who you vote that for? Yeah, no, but I think that's.
I think you don't need it to go. I mean, it's one of my pet hates in a way, but psychometric testing is. I don't think it's a good idea when you're going for a job, but I think it's good to do it when you're in the job, because for us, we're allowed to then see. If you do your profile and you're about to start work for me, as a manager, I'll be able to say to you, this is how I speak to Mark. This is what will tick Mark's box. And equally backwards, if you read mine, you'll say this is how I should speak to Mark, or make sure I come to a meeting prepared for this because this is the way he is. I think that's a useful tool.
Yeah, it is.
But to take a job, I agree with you. I think trying to get you a tick in a box just to weigh you up as an interview technique is something that's I've always been against.
But I think what you see, is you find the big nationals, not necessarily in our industry. I'm talking about if you imagine someone like Google, Facebook, or those kind of big guys, they will use that testing as another tool, as a means to get from the thousands to the hundreds, or the hundreds to the tens of CVs. And it's kind of not fair, is it? Because you know yourself, Ricky, Mark, we've seen it. Some of the best people I've seen in our industry, when you first met them, you'd think they were no good. and then they come in and they just don't.
And there's some very maverick people.
Yeah.
I mean, God bless him in talking because he's not with us anymore. But Gary Gray, how would he have got through that system? But actually, in a business, he was. If you could manage him, he was incredibly powerful, and you couldn't manage him. But he was one of them guys that would just.
But you said, look, you know, you're an example of that, aren't you? You said I fell into it. Do you know? We had this conversation. How you got into hire? I think before everyone that said that we've spoken to, they fell into hire, But you, therefore, I think this industry gives us an opportunity for all creeds and colours of people and makes and models of people to come in and make something of themselves if they get the opportunity.
100%.
You know, you said you fell in there and you've done a bit of sales, and before you know it, now you're a business owner, owned your business, sold your business, successful on a board of a major hire company. And I don't think, if you come from our backgrounds or my background as well, you come out of school with that opportunity. This industry gives you that opportunity.
It does.
You know, more than any other industry.
Yeah.
It doesn't really judge that much about what you know and what you don't know. It's all about your effort, enthusiasm.
Yeah. And we used to say at Speedy, look, we used to take people at 17, 18 that had just got a driving licence, and out of them, some of them became, the top men. You know, Dan Evans is a fine example. Started as a Saturday boy. He's now CEO of Speedy. But you find a few gems in that, and the good ones you retain, you keep them in the business and develop them, become depot managers. You'll have some that are middle runners and some that will nick off you and are always bad guys and will go to work for people and be bad guys for them. But that's the circle of it's where they start. And actually, you can find some good people that become good people.
It's amazing. So I've heard that a lot. That the fact that come in and just in the some of the as a Saturday boy or whatever, and end up working your way up to such a high level within the business. And you don't hear that often with many industries, to be honest.
No.
There is really so many opportunities in hire.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you go through all that psychometric testing, you're discounting. The one thing that we really need is people with personality and character.
Yeah.
They're the people that have done well in hire and intelligence. But you can't exclude them people. It's important to have a system that can capture and spot it. Yeah.
Okay, well, we could talk about that for ages. I think it's about time we wrapped up. So thanks very much, Ricky, for coming.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Thanks, Ricky.
And thanks for everyone else, and we'll see you another time.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.